Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Robin Bevan and today I'm gonna go a little bit into some of the things regarding the Awakening to Our Cultural Crisis series and, well, very much why this is relevant to your life in particular. Ground a lot of this theory down before we dive into it. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the chaos around you, like you're losing your sense of self in a world that's constantly changing? In today's world, we are witnessing a troubling division among people, political tensions, cultural conflicts, and the relentless media cycle fueling a growing sense of hostility. This division, often referred to as a culture war, is rooted in deep-seated beliefs about identity, gender roles, and societal expectations. And these issues can lead to a crisis of meaning and belonging, as many struggle to navigate their place in a rapidly changing world. For many people, this feels like being swallowed by a cultural chaos. And when chaos comes knocking, the human tendency is to cling harder to order, with an increase in tribalism becoming more and more evident. And this tendency for order has evolved into hyper-rationality. As such, many individuals experience life as if they are cogs in a fast impersonal machine, where the relentless grind of work, consumerism, and social expectations creates an overwhelming sense of replaceability. This mechanistic view can lead to a profound disconnection from one's true self and a feeling of alienation in a world that values productivity over individuality. So many often find themselves trapped in a cycle of numbing behaviors. To cope with the monotony and emotional void, society encourages the use of various distractions: food, alcohol, cigarettes, sex, gambling, and entertainment. And these substances and activities become temporary escapes, providing momentary relief from the reality of being trapped in a system that prioritizes efficiency over human connection. This sense of being a replaceable cog in a machine can be particularly pronounced in cultures that glorify busyness and success, equating worth with output. So individuals often feel pressured to conform to societal expectations, leading to a life of routine. As many people have probably noticed, and you've probably noticed that yourself within your own life, scapegoating is particularly prevalent in today's culture wars. Individuals and groups often, look for someone to blame for their dissatisfaction or confusion, especially in areas like gender identity and roles. For example, discussions around gender fluidity and traditional masculinity can ignite intense debates where individuals may project their fears and insecurities onto those with different experiences or identities. And this blame culture not only harms those who are targeted, but also stifles meaningful dialogue about complex issues. So instead of seeking understanding or common ground, people often resort to hostility, further entrenching their positions. Where in contemporary politics, opposing parties often scapegoat one another for societal issues. For example, during economic downturns, political leaders may blame immigrants or specific minority groups for job losses, diverting attention from systemic economic problems, which creates a cycle of resentment and division. Think also the growing divide between the left and right. Where social media has next given rise to cancel culture, where individuals or groups are publicly shamed and ostracized for perceived transgressions. And this phenomena often involves scapegoating individuals for broader societal issues, leading to a culture of fear where people hesitate to express their opinions or take risks, even if at times real things are addressed as well. especially the discourse around gender also being a prime example of the current cultural divide. Many feel pressured to conform to traditional gender roles or binary definitions of identity. This pressure can lead to confusion and mental health struggles, as individuals grapple with their sense of self amidst societal expectations. Media representation often illustrates a stark division between traditional gender roles and the feminist pushback against these norms. Traditional portrayals typically depict men as strong and unemotional, embodying the archetype of the heroic figure who resolves conflicts through violence and dominance. Women, conversely, are often relegated to nurturing and passive roles, primarily supporting male characters or fulfilling the archetype of the love interest. In contrast, feminist movements have challenged these stereotypes. For example, contemporary media increasingly features female characters who are strong, independent, and capable of leading their own stories, reflecting the push for gender equality. However, this push for independence can create a dichotomy, framing nurturing and independence as opposing forces. So some narratives suggest that in order to be strong and independent, women must reject traditional roles altogether, leading to the perception that nurturing is a weakness. Conversely, women who embrace nurturing qualities may be seen as failing to fully realize their potential in a patriarchal society that often equates worth with independence and ambition. The mental health crisis is linked to these identity issues as well, as people feel alienated from their true selves. They experience feelings of worthlessness, anxiety, and depression. And this disconnection also further highlights the longing for belonging and acceptance, which is often unmet in modern society. The rise of social media has been then also linked to increased anxiety and depression, particularly among young people, where the constant comparisons to curated online personas can lead to feelings of inadequacy and isolation. Additionally, online bullying and harassment contribute to mental health struggles, exacerbating feelings of hopelessness and despair. Where then individuals who seek help for mental health problems often face judgment and misunderstanding. This stigma can lead to internalized shame, causing many to suppress their struggles rather than seek support. Which is why mental health Discord servers are, for instance, thriving. And due to this, amidst these cultural upheavals, a broader search for meaning and belonging is emerging. Think here also John Verweiki's Meaning Crisis series. And many individuals are seeking ways to connect with others who share their experiences and values. Because the matter of the fact is that the desire for community is vital. It allows individuals to explore their identities and navigate their feelings without fear or judgment. However, when cultural narratives emphasize division over unity, this search for belonging can become fraught with tension. So rather than fostering understanding, we often see an increase in polarization, where people retreat into echo chambers that reinforce their beliefs. The fast-paced lifestyle and digital communication can further also create superficial relationships, leading individuals to feel unmoored and without a sense of belonging. So now coming to the series itself. Within this series, Awakening to Our Cultural Crisis, I will go into the deeper roots of these various issues. This is not just for the sake of theoretical exploration alone, but to more towards the end of the series come with real insights into how the various splits and tensions could be transcended. The series will look at these roots from a Jungian lens. For those who do not know what a Jungian lens is, the Jungian lens ties to Jungian psychology. This ties to Carl Jung, and Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who founded analytical psychology. And he is best known for his concepts of the collective unconscious, archetypes, and psychological types. So think also the Myers-Briggs types that came out of that as well, even though they're not as accurate. And Jung's work emphasized the importance of exploring the unconscious mind and integrating its contents into conscious awareness, which he believed was essential for personal development and self-realization. And I'm taking his and Nietzsche's work further into the depths from modernity to the Neolithic throughout Indo-European cultures back to our cultural roots. So in the end, the findings of this series touch real-world issues plaguing much of society, and will not only diagnose the roots of our division, but also explore transformative pathways toward healing. So drawing from psychological insights, we will delve into how individuals can work internally to transcend the scapegoat mechanism, freeing themselves from the burdens of blame and shame that often plague our interactions within modern culture. Where we will also discuss the undistorted forms of masculinity and femininity, examining how these archetypes can coexist harmoniously in our social order. I want to further add that this series is not going to be about taking one side over the other. It's about reconciling these polarizations, these opposites within the culture, which is the main purpose of the entire series. And I want to further add that even though we will be touching upon the collective shadow, so the darker aspects of human nature, and these kind of archetypes that are, tied to that, we're not gonna dwell on atrocities or all kinds of dark, fucked up stuff within human nature within this series. I'm gonna spare you all those details and look into the deeper archetypes themselves instead, to really paint a picture of the original Neolithic form of these archetypes. Because in the end, that's the most important thing, that we get back to that original understanding that reconciles these various polarities and divisions. And with that said, I hope that you will join me on this journey through the collective psyche, and that you also get inspired by this to not only, look at this and go like, okay, well, this is all nice, theoretical and everything, but to really see within yourself and within the larger culture, like how these things are playing out. Because in the end, this is not just a journey of me sharing my insights, but also a journey of collaboration between me and very many other people. Because many of the findings within this series have come about exactly through a journey like that, through this collaboration with all the round table nights that have explored a lot of these concepts with me. And I would, with that, also want to say thank you for everyone who has been, involved in the creation of this series. So thank you. And with that, see you around.